Hello, I am Ana Abril. I am the program manager for Spot 8's outreach team.
And hi, I'm Ashley Barrett. I am the Associate Director for SPA 5 West LA programs. So let's get into about Women's History Month. So our first question is, what does the 2022 Women's History Month theme mean to you? Providing healing, promoting hope. Um, and what I am thinking is, I think it's so applicable to everything that we do here at Path, just as a whole, especially with promoting the hope. We're constantly hearing the stories of some of the most vulnerable situations and people's circumstances and whatnot. And I really value that opportunity to be able to have those stories shared with me, listen, and all these various experiences that they have had. I really hold the hope for them, and just being able with the thought process to be able to link people to whatever they may need or just listen to them, because oftentimes they may not have been heard in the past.
I agree, completely agree with that. And then in regards to the healing part, I feel like that intertwines with the promoting of hope. Because with hope, once they find that they can finally trust again, they are able to heal their traumas or their trust issues that they have before, or some of their concerns with regards to trusting other people or even other service providers. So I completely agree with you. And on top of that, I feel like we can also provide the healing for them, even if it's just to provide the trust or a hearing them out, hearing the stories out. So
Yeah, that's true. That healing, and sometimes I guess like that's maybe that does it just kind of goes together, like you said, like us just listening to their story might provide some type of healing for them. For
yeah,
them. Yeah,
but
I
we're not providing, we're not judging them. We're not going off stereotypes or any negative thinking about them. We're just providing them services and help. We're just here to help. So maybe that's also how we promote the healing and the hope for them.
yeah, absolutely. So when do you feel most empowered? I feel most empowered just being able to work together on either small or big projects. I like that feeling of like just setting a goal together and then just working together to achieve that goal. Despite, and even if we talk about like we set out, we wanted to achieve this and it didn't happen, just being able to come together and talk about it and just say, okay, just kind of readjusting if ever necessary, if we need to do that. And then I also think to myself that like no matter how small or big it is, it's all worthy and it all has purpose. It gets us somewhere as a collective.
Yeah, completely. Even when you set yourself personal goals, that is empowering too. When you're taking that first step and then it leads you to the second step and so on. And eventually you're in the last step and you're like, oh wow, I did it. That is an amazing feeling. And I can completely agree with you working on a team and being a program manager and seeing them progress and seeing them grow into their positions. And even with their caseloads for their participants, that seeing them grow with them and seeing them push them or motivate them also is a very rewarding feeling. And that's when I feel empowered and I feel like I'm doing or I'm being the good program manager, the good leader to them. And that leads me to believe I'm in the right place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you empower other women at work? I I empower other women at work first, like I said, through listening. Historically, as we all know, like historically, women did not like their voices just were not heard. We were here, but we just our voices didn't matter. And so in present time, I know that my voice matters. I know that it matters, and then I want to help encourage other women other women to use their voice, use their voice. We may meet during supervisions, or we may meet through whatever, just at the office or stuff like that, but just actually providing a safe space, basically, to first listen and then kind of come up with a plan, but like encouraging women to use that voice, and to know that like our voices do matter. Our voices do matter. They're definitely worthy of everything, and it goes a long way for us to actually speak. Actually speak. What about you?
Completely agree. I feel like you touched on a very important point, the safe place. Um, Having that security or having that trust into someone is very important for even speaking on anything. And so as women, historically, as you mentioned, we haven't been allowed to do that always. So we're known to just keep the questions to ourselves, keep the concerns to ourselves. In Spanish, there's a phrase that says "calladita te ves más bonita," which means quiet, you look prettier. So we grew up with that, and
Mm,
providing them a safe space, a safe environment, and letting them know that using their voice is okay is how I can empower other women. And as a program manager, I let them know that they can address any type of concerns, any questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question ever.
yeah.
Even if it's the same question 3 times, like I want to know that you're comfortable asking me those 3 questions over and over again until you're comfortable with that answer, or you are more aware of the answer. And so that's how I feel that I empower other women.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think that's like beautiful, like what you were mentioning, just like culturally and everything. I know culturally as a Black woman, and just kind of like what I've learned or what I have like heard of, just like how do you work? How do you
Right.
navigate through this? And how are you supposed to act, right? How are you supposed to
Right.
act? And it goes a long way, and when those things are kind of like instilled in you. But honestly, when I look at it, a lot of it had to be for protection, protection for yourself.
Right.
You don't want to be perceived in what other kind of ways. So I think a lot of people, women, we just kind of shy away from being not as vocal, and
Right.
not,
Yes.
because you don't want that perception or whatnot. But we
Mhm.
know that it is okay, and that our voices do matter. They do matter,
Correct.
regardless.
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes that label, we get
yes.
labeled for asking or for saying anything, addressing any concerns, and we tend to shy away from that, from using our voice just because we don't want to be labeled. We're
Mm,
easily labeled for anything, so I think that plays into part as well. And I completely agree.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the other question is, who's a woman that you look up to? I know for myself, it's my mother. She's provided me with a lot of guidance, and she's so strong. She just constantly exudes strength, constantly. And you're just like, wow, like you hear the barriers, you hear the stories, everything that she's gone through. And she's always there for me. She's very intelligent. She's a like excellent role model for myself. I truly, truly look up to her. Um, her overall work ethic, it's like it's insane, but with boundaries. So with boundaries, but she's really, someone that not only that I look up to, but even my own friends, they also know that my mom's that's the woman that, like, if you need to ask an adult, even though we're all adults, it's like, the real adult. The
Yeah,
real,
yeah.
you can talk to my mom, you can talk to her, and she's like no judgment, no nothing. You can literally just tell her anything, anything at all. But she's constantly exuding that strength despite any of the barriers that she's overcame. She's just an excellent role model. What about you?
For me, it's a similar story. For me, it's my grandmother. She's no longer with us, but I still keep her in my mind. I still keep her in my heart. And every day I'm reminded, like, the type of woman she is. There's different little, I guess, triggers or reminders that bring her up to me. And as you mentioned, she, like, just like your mom, my grandma was the real adult in the family.
Mhm.
Any advice, we would go to my grandma. Anything that we were concerned about or we were questioning ourselves, we would go to my grandma. She she found a way to be the strongest woman, but also one of the most nurturing women I've ever met and I've
Yeah.
ever encountered. And to me, that's something that I really admire because she found balance between the two. And
Yes.
she provided such a comfort zone for everyone. She was like the perfect solution to everything. So my
Mhm.
grandma is someone I truly, truly admire, and she inspires every step I take, every action, every decision. I always think, what would my grandma say? What would my grandma do? And she's a very strong role model in my life, I would say.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. And I love that both of us like have that experience, have that
Yeah.
experience of just because sometimes I always think to myself, like, what would I do? Like if I couldn't just go talk to my mom or, like
Yeah.
that. But just like you talk about your grandmother, like, like what, because of your rapport, your relationship that you had with your grandmother, what she would do
Yeah,
because
it honestly
yeah,
stays with you, and you kind of go based off like previous advices or previous comments that they've made, and you're just like, if she said this about that, then she'll probably say this about this then.
yes, yes, totally, totally. That's what my mom always says. Like, even if I'm not here, you know
Yeah,
what I would do. You know
for
what I would
sure.
say. Yes. Uh-huh. It's so funny. Women, women, they are so
Even
strong.
when they're gone, they're strong
Yes,
minded.
yes. It lives on, right? It lives
Yeah,
on. It lives on. Absolutely.
I
Love
think
that.
that's
Yeah.
my um I think that's what brought me peace. That she's
Mhm.
a part of me, that I became a part of her, and
Yes.
that she inspired the woman that I'm growing. I'm still growing. We're both still growing. I feel like we're always
Yes.
growing as
Yes.
humans, as women, as professionals, and she's definitely a big part of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, shout out to them. Shout out
Yes,
to
big shout outs.
them.
And
Right.
to us too, because we're
It's
we're out here.
us. You're right. You're right. We're so like we are so willing to, we love them and we've learned so much from them and it's helped us so much. But sometimes it is hard to just say, you know what, like we're doing great. Like we're doing a good job. Like and
Yes,
and we're using our voices, effectively and consistently, all that stuff.
yes.
But I love it. I love talking to you about this and like celebrating and honoring women's history. I love this. I love this so much.
I feel like it should happen more often. Like I feel like we can easily shine the light on others, but not on ourselves.
Yes.
That's something that I know for a fact I need to work on. So I'm pretty
Same.
sure.
Same. We're definitely twinning there. Definitely twinning
Yeah.
there.